Number 16. Point P is rotated 120 degrees counterclockwise around a circle with a diameter of 20 meters. If the center of the circle is at the origin, which coordinates represent the location of P prime relative to the center? That P apostrophe, we call that P prime. It just means P has been moved. So as we look at this, when it says which coordinates or what coordinates, what you're looking for is an X and Y value. That's what we're actually looking for. And so there's a few ways of looking at this. One is that we can say this, we could create a triangle out of this. You always connect a point to the x-axis. I could look at this triangle and I can say, what's the reference angle? Well, if this is 120 degrees, it connects to this x-axis over here, which is a total of 180 degrees. How many must we go there? It's 60. So one way of doing this is saying, sorry, let me get together here. Diameter is 20 meters. That means the radius is 10 meters. And what that tells us is, if you notice, point P is the distance of a radius away. So that tells me my hypotenuse is 10. So radius and hypotenuse are synonymous. Now, if I have my h, I can find my x and my y using trig. Specifically, I could say that cosine of the 60 degrees is equal to x over my hypotenuse of 10. I'll multiply both sides by 10, and this is how I'd get my x value. By the way, it'll be the same math, except for if I wanted y here, I would have to change that to sine. So this will give me my y value as well. I'm going to use the hand trick here. 60 degrees is my pointer finger. So if you take your pointer finger, bend it, flip your hand over. Cosine, I have one finger left over, so it'd be square root of 1 over 2. It'll be 10 times square root of 1 over 2. And here, this would be 10 times. I have 3 sine fingers, so square root of 3 over 2. I'm going to multiply this out. Square root of 1 is 1, so 10 times a half is 5. This value is 5. This one, 5 divided by 2, or excuse me, 10 divided by 2 is 5. And then I have the square root of 3 left over. Since this is in the second quadrant, the y value is positive, but the x is negative. So the coordinate that would represent would be negative 5, comma, 5 square root of 3. Now, if you did not want to do it that way, one thing you could do from the start is we know our angle is 120 degrees. We also know the h is 10. So x is always h times cosine because, again, cosine theta equals x over h. And so if you solve for solve for x, you just multiply h on both sides. So we'd have h cos equals x, and we'd also have h sine equals y. If you wanted to, from the get-go, you could have just plugged in 10 cosine of 120 degrees, and that would have straight up in the calculator given you negative 5. And then if you did the same with sine, this would have given you a weird decimal, but it would be congruent to 5 square roots of 3.